Recording. Warning. The following podcast contains graphic language that Nancy Reagan and Tipper Gore deemed inappropriate in a civilized society.
We're here to talk about the political environment and kind of what it means. Some of us are going to have our own views. These are our private views. Every person has a bias, and hopefully you'll know that we wear our bias on our sleeves. That way you don't feel like we're trying to deceive you in any way.
It's about time to get with the program.
Oh, hello, boys and girls. Welcome to Progressive Rampage. I'm Jesse Cheney.
And with you as always is Chris Carew, way up in Maine.
Yes, I'm in the deep, deep south. So we're going to get this out there just so everyone knows. This is actually going to be take 2 of the podcast because someone forgot to hit the record button. So,
everybody gets one, right, Spider-Man?
Exactly. Everybody gets one. So if this one isn't as funny as it should be, just know that the one before it was probably way funnier.
Oh, wow. It had me in stitches, Jesse. I'm real sorry that I didn't record it.
That's okay. It like you said, everybody gets one.
Yeah. I hope you remember all that really intelligent stuff you said, too.
Yeah, sure. We'll try that. Why not?
Okay.
So today's boys and girls, we're going to cover a little bit of Civics 101.
Civics 101?
Yes, Civics 101. So basically everyone, no, I shouldn't say everyone, millennials and the like, you probably have never heard that term, but it basically is teaching you how your government is supposed to work and the requirements to hold office and the like.
And let me just say that, Jesse, you have kids, right?
I do have kids.
Okay, so the people at home can understand. You know what classes they're taking. They're in public school, correct?
Yep. My son right now is 13. He's in public school, and he's learned dick about civics.
Yeah, and by the age of 13, I remember way back in the day when I was in school, we had civics class, like all through middle school, even all through high school.
Yes.
And I understood what my civic duty was, the whole point of being a participant in these United States.
Yep, exactly. Now, here's the scary thing that a lot of people need to know. They require on an immigration test for your citizenship that you actually know how the government is supposed to work, the 3 branches, the representatives, the senators, all of it.
Yeah.
And an immigrant coming from Kazakhstan to be a citizen is going to know more about how this government is supposed to work than the average American between the ages of 13 and probably 30. And that should scare you. Yes, exactly. And that should scare you because a lot of people, they have no fucking clue on what it takes to be a senator. They think that you have to be a constitutional lawyer and you have to have all this schooling behind you and everything else, and it's not true.
You just have to know what the rules are.
Exactly. So we're going to go off with the very, very definition what it takes to be a representative in these United States.
Let's do it, Jess.
It's a lesson in civics with Professor Jess.
Article 1, Section 2 of the Constitution states that you must be 25 years old, have been a citizen of the USA for the past 7 years, and be at the time of your election an inhabitant of the state in which you want to represent.
Sounds easy enough.
Easy enough. Doesn't say anything about a BA. Doesn't say anything about a master's. Doesn't say that you have to be uber rich. Your dad has to be a mogul. None of that shit.
Nope.
To be a senator, you have to be 30 years old and a citizen of the United States for a minimum of 9 years and be an inhabitant in the state in which you are going to be a senator.
La-ti-da.
Exactly. So I mean, it's not that hard. And honestly, the forefathers that actually did this Constitution, they actually wanted to make it to where those were the only requirements that you needed to hold office.
Well, right, because you had more and more people coming into the country, and they wanted to make sure that you'd been here at least long enough to understand what the predicaments were for the people around you. You get to know everybody and get to know what the resources were like in that state,
Right. But they didn't put any more restrictions there just to make sure that anyone, if you met those base minimum requirements, you could hold office. So they didn't want to make it to where you had to be rich. You had to have this. You had to have this. You had to have this. Where only that would be a small section of the population that could actually run for office.
Well, in their defense, Jess, and I don't mean to defend these people, but they kind of did that as well because only white men who owned land were voting. And only white men who owned land who were voting were the people who would end up entering the political class. So let's just make that part perfectly clear. We are at a point now where more and more people have the right to be able to vote and actually engage in running for public office. I'd say everybody does. But it took a really long time to get there. So this wasn't a kumbaya moment in America.
No, exactly. No.
It was still elitists. They just had something else in their back pocket, you know?
Well, but you got to remember is when this country was founded, slavery was still a thing. Women didn't have any rights.
Yep.
I mean, it was what it was. But considering, like you said, and I'm going to put a counterpoint to what you just put, okay? And I get that. You had to be white. You had to own land to vote, blah, blah, blah. But you did not have to have those. There were less requirements to hold office for a representative than there was to vote.
And the fact remains that those are still the requirements, which now we should be using these to our advantage to represent ourselves rather than letting it continue the way it always has. I totally agree with you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So let's go and do a little bit of math. Okay. So representative. Okay. So the House of Representatives is not quite as glamorous as the House of, the Senate floor. I get that.
Oh.
But realistically, there are more representatives than there are senators. So you get X amount of representatives depending on the population of your state.
Yeah.
Okay. So that being said, if you, or let's say I ran for office here deep in the deep South, and I don't know, I'd probably have to run off the whole, I don't know, I'm a flag waving, gun toting, Christian comic book, psycho believing, women shouldn't have the right to do nothing. I could probably get into office.
Yikes.
Not that I'm saying that I believe those things, but I'm saying if I wanted in office.
Would that make you like a bigot, like a bigot in name only?
Exactly. So as a representative, so the minute you get into office and everything else, your salary is $174,000 per year.
Yep.
Okay. You're only going to work 138 days out of that year. Exactly. So that's $1,260 per day. Now, the math that I did is I broke it down to an 8-hour day, okay?
Uh-huh.
So in that 8-hour day, you're going to be making $157.50 per hour.
Whew.
Per hour.
A lot of us are lucky to get that in the one day.
Exactly. Now, the thing that I'm pushing this against is the federal minimum wage of $7.75. Okay. So at $7.75, it would take you 20.32 hours to make their 1 hour wage. Yes. So the math that I did like I said, is I did the 8-hour day. So 138 days at 8 hours equals 1,104 hours per year.
Okay.
To make that at the federal minimum wage, you're looking at 22,433.28 years, which equals 7.68 years to make that wage these fucking idiots are going to make in a year.
I'm not all right with that. I am just not all right with that.
No, it's painful to see. And now the thing is we talked about this in the first little round that we had that didn't get recorded. I'm going to keep throwing that out there just so you know.
Thanks, Jason.
But it's not a bad thing, just so people know. We've already talked about this a little bit. These people will sit there and take office. Now, the average, and I say average because these are numbers that I saw as far as back as 2009, 11, and 2014. The average net worth for a representative in office is $900 to $1.3 or $1.8 million. These people do not need this wage. They do not need this money. A person may ask themselves, okay, well then why would someone who doesn't need the money take this position? And it's they do this to take this position, in my opinion, this is my opinion only, in a way to further their wealth.
It's to further their network and their reach so that they can increase their wealth.
Exactly.
Right? It's to go in there and fuck with regulations and take the kickbacks in order to do the bidding of other people who will later on scratch their back once they're out of the office. I would say it's the popularity. It's like running for student body president. All you really get out of it is like, well, popularity, right? And people come to you first with money obligation. Yeah.
So, like, honestly, and I'm going to sit here and tell you right now, I had $900,000 in my bank account tomorrow. I'm retired. I am. I'm not going to go work. I'm not going to go do shit. I ain't even going to go to the fucking cheerleader car wash down the street to raise money for fucking little Betty's fucking breast implant surgery. Ain't doing none of that.
And with that, you could probably live really comfortably for about 20 years if you invested it longer.
Yes. I mean, that's the thing. Like, I mean, a lot of people don't understand is if we gave the average 90 to 95% of the population the option to run for office or $900,000, they're going to be like, I'll take the 9. Because they can see that number and be like, I don't need to do a lot of shit anymore. I don't need to do this. I can do things that I want to do and not necessarily have to get up at 4:30 in the morning and go do this and go do that and go to work and eat shit and none of that.
Oh, wow. I wonder if it's cheaper to do that to a progressive trying to run as a Democrat or to just Arkansas them.
Yeah. So, I mean, and like a senator going in right now, a freshman senator, meaning that they're just a senator, is going to make the same wage, $174,000 a year.
Yeah.
Now, a senator that's been in there long enough to become a majority or minority leader is going to make $193,400 a year.
What?
Yes. The cabinet member of a senator, if a senator is on a cabinet, he's going to make $199,700 a year. And the Speaker of the House is going to make upwards of $223,500 a year.
What?
So for people to understand that, Paul Ryan, who just stepped down as Speaker of the House, just told the federal government, 2 fingers in the air, take your $223,500, shove it up your ass, I quit.
I mean, I don't agree with most of what Paul Ryan says, but I can say that's kind of a badass move. In one way of looking at it, right?
And that is fine. But what you need to look at is if he's able to turn around, he's got more money in his bank account. He's got fuck you money.
Oh, yeah. No shit.
He's got fuck you money so big, he can turn around and tell them to take their $223,500 a year job and shove it up their ass.
You know what? I retract my former statement. I think that was the capitalist in me speaking out, and I need to shut that stupid asshole up.
The capitalist is fine. Capitalism just doesn't fucking
it's
work.
The ones that are like enamored with all the glitz and glamour of Hollywood, and they dream of being as rich and famous as all these other people they follow on Instagram, and that fucking bitch that's trying to become the first
God,
youngest billionaire, right?
Cunty McFuck twat. Your sister's a porn star. You mean
how
that
the hell
bitch?
Can you go out to your fans who you know are trying to make ends meet, at least half of them, and say, give me $1 so that I can be even more richer than you?
Well, first off, she didn't ask anyone to do it. They just decided to do it at bottom. But she even put out there that, all this money's going to go to charity. Yeah, what fucking charity? Your church charity?
You know what?
The church your mother fucking runs?
Listen. If she gives it to charity, I will change my tune in a heartbeat. I am
No.
proud to retract the statement.
First off, we need to be very specific when we talk about charity, because 90% of the charities that operate right now that people are more than happy to give $1 to here and at Walmart, would you like to donate $1 to Red Cross? You people need to fucking understand that 20% of what you give is actually going to the cause. 80% is going to some fucktard's fucking wallet, whether it's the CEO, operating costs, this, that, the other. I don't believe in giving to charity. Fuck that.
Touche, Jesse.
Absolutely. Unequivocally, go fuck yourself. You ask me to give to charity, you'd be lucky I don't slap you in the head with my fucking nuts, because that's all horseshit.
Wait, so do you avoid buying Newman's Own food products?
Newman's, all of it. If it says, 100% goes to charity, I'm just like, fuck it, I'm buying No Name.
Damn.
Fuck
Those are pretty good pizzas, though, I just have to say.
Well, I mean, the problem that I have when you talk about charities, the simple fact is, UNICEF gives 12 cents for every dollar they take. 12 cents goes to their charity.
It's like the bigger you make these things, the less money they actually give towards the cause.
Not only that, I mean, most charities are Christian-based, wherein they're like, well, if you give us $5 a month, we will feed hungry people in Africa. And you look at what they actually do, they make these people sit through a sermon before they feed them.
Yeah. It's always been that way. It's so fucked, isn't it?
Yeah, like feed the children. But the thing is these countries where it's like, oh, they're starving children in Africa. And I'm not saying not to be charitable. Don't take it that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying you should have the attitude of fuck your fellow man. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you need to be smart if you're going to give money to someone. Because, perfect example, Feed the Children. They operate in South Africa. Oh, well, we got to go in and we got to save these children who are starving to death, or Christians, whatever.
Yeah.
But these are countries that are rich in resources, from diamonds to gold to rare earth elements to fucking oil.
Are there any charities out there that you do approve of?
No. None.
Okay, but if you do,
none whatsoever.
We'll update. We'll update if you come.
And that's fine. And I'll give you another one. I'll give you another one.
Maybe we could do an episode where we do a little research and find out the ones that are worth giving any money to.
Well, we could, but I really just have an issue with there's certain charities that, hands down, I mean, I'll give you a perfect example. And I'm going to get hate mail, and you can send that hate mail to jchaney2014@gmail.com.
Oh, I double dog dare you to give hate mail to Jesse.
Do it.
Double
Send
dog
me
dare.
fucking hate mail. I dare you. Wounded Warriors.
He'll write back, by the way.
Oh, my God. Wounded Warriors? Oh, for $19 a month, I can help a veteran. Really? I'm pretty sure my taxes are already going to that, and it's called the VA. So why the fuck are you asking me for more money when I'm already giving money for an organization that is supposed to be taking care of these vets?
I'll bet a large portion of that cash goes straight to a lobbying firm that then lobbies the VA constantly for them to be able to continue to do whatever they are doing by sucking your money up.
Exactly.
But my point being is it's not going to the vets. It's going to the people who are pushing things around. It's as fucked up as our healthcare system, right?
All
the money's getting spent on administrative things and people trying to jack prices up to having continually larger profit.
Our country is the only country that allows the healthcare industry to run with 2 books. You guys know that, right?
Yeah. We discussed it, what was it, 2 episodes ago?
2 episodes ago, yeah. But they get to run with 2 books. And realistically, that's not capitalism, that's manipulating, period. Mm-hmm. It's like we were talking about in the first thing before we got... before someone pressed record, was the stock market. It's make-believe, people. It doesn't exist.
The stock market doesn't exist? Jesse, tell us more.
Okay, so I cannot say, let's say I had 50 shares of Walmart stock, right?
50 shares of Walmart stock. You're living high on the hog.
I'm living high on the hog, and I decide I'm going to go to my local Walmart and slap those 50 shares down and go, I want 50 shares of your store right now. They're going to look at me like, A, security, we've got someone who's delusional, and B, they're going to be like, why did you print out stock certificates that are worthless? Because that's exactly what they are. It's all make-believe.
It's like B-grade stock. It doesn't actually represent a piece of the company at all. It's just something that's fodder for the stock market that is only worth as much as someone else is willing to give you.
Exactly. So if I took a company, and let's say, I don't know, I'm making fucking dildos, and I decide that I want to go, public with my company, they're going to say I need initial IPA, which is initial public offering, or IPO, public offering. I got to take my company and decide how many shares of this imaginary fucking unit that I'm going to break my company up into. But I got to make sure I still hold 51% of control of that imaginary number, so no one can come in and say, guess what, Jesse? We're not making dildos. We're making crosses for Jesus. Well, no one wants to really... Well, I shouldn't say that. Actually, might be a better marketing plan. But anyway,
what if it was a cross dildo?
Exactly. They call it the uterus sword.
Fuck me, Jesus.
Fuck me, Jesus. Fuck me hard.
Let the Lord in. Cross your pearly gates.
Can I make some I don't know, Jesus Christ fleshlights maybe? The tagline on it would be, having trouble with masturbation, take my hand, we'll beat it together.
And when I saw only 2 feet in the sand behind me, I knew that you were inside me.
That's fucking awesome. Anyway, going back to the stock market, then they basically say, okay, our company is worth, if we sold it today, we'd sell it for X amount of money. And that's where they get the stock price. But now when that stock goes up, people who own that stock are going to make money over what they initially invested. I mean, it's a bullshit make-believe fucking accounting system.
It used to be something where people were actually getting to share in the ownership of a company. And at some point, I don't know, we should do a little more research on that and do some Wall Street episodes, because this is just nightmarish fucked up. It's gambling.
Right.
It goes legal gambling.
But it goes back to what Josh was talking about in his 9-minute rant. These fucking asshole CEOs of certain companies took government money for a bailout, took their bonus out of that bailout money, and bought more stock options in their own goddamn shitty company that was almost going under, thus rising the price of their stock, thus making themselves more money. But more importantly, they did it with money that they didn't have to spend because it was government fucking welfare. But hey,
they paid it back with dividends, you know what I mean?
But they didn't pay back
labor into paying it back.
No, they didn't pay it back whatsoever.
Well, they paid it back in partial ownership, I think, and then they had to buy that ownership back from the government.
No.
Sorry, that was the automotive.
AIG.
Yeah,
AIG
you're
told George Bush to go fuck himself when he offered to bail them out, because in the bailout money there was a payback option where they had to pay back X amount of money or X percentage of whatever they got. They told George Bush Jr. to go fuck himself. We ain't taking no money that we got to pay back. So they came back and said, okay, we're going to give you more money and you don't need to pay it back. And they were like, well, I guess we'll take your bailout money.
Motherfuckers.
You know, and it's like, and now AIG is running ads for everything. And it's like, you fuckers 10 years ago should have gone under. You should be no more. You should be, the CEO of AIG should be sitting on a fucking corner in LA and like East LA saying, we'll suck dick for burrito. Not even money, just a burrito.
That might happen anyway.
Yeah, here's hoping. You never know. But going back to what we were talking about, I mean, it's insane. Like a senator, they work 162 days a year.
Yeah.
At the minimum, they're making $1,074.07 a day. The majority or minority leader is making $1,193.83 a day. The cabinet member is making $1,232.71 a day. And the Speaker of the House is making $1,379.62 a day. A day. So hourly on an 8-hour work day, that breaks down to the regular guy making $134.25 an hour, the majority or minority leader making $149.20 an hour, the cabinet member making $154.09 an hour, and the Speaker of the House making $172.45 per hour.
And by the way, the reason why I'm outraged at these 160, 170 day a year work jobs that these fuckers are taking, I don't get 2 weeks of vacation a year. I actually get 5 days paid. And maybe if I'm with the company I'm with right now for a couple more years, I think, I end up getting 10 days, which means I'm almost as cool as Australia, which gives it to people no matter what their job automatically. Mm-hmm. But I digress. So you take those 10 days off of the 365, and you end up with
355.
Subtracting the 2 days. And you subtract 2 days a week for the 2 days off I get because I work 40 hours a week. Well, I do a lot more than that, but as far as the company that's actually paying me, I work 40 hours a week. So that means I get 2 days off. So that means 104 days get subtracted as well. So now we're down to, 251?
Well, hold on now. There's 52 times 2 is 104. 365 minus 104.
And minus 10.
Okay, so 251 days a year. You're expected to work 251 days a year.
And they work 100 fewer.
They work 138 in the House of Representatives
And they make
162.
so much more. I mean, I am a working poor, I guess you could consider me, but I'm kind of higher paid than some of my cohorts. You know what I'm saying? I'm not doing terribly, but I'm working that much, just getting by. And
But you got to remember, Chris, right now, you're a sink.
Yeah.
Because you're not married, right? You're sink.
Sink?
Single income, no kids.
Oh, is that some term you fucking breeders come up with?
No, it is. Do you have what they call sink or dink?
Hey, actually, and I work as a chef, so I'm a kitchen sink.
Right, so you have sink or dink. Sink means single income, no children, which also means you also don't have a wife. Now, unfortunately, a sink is worse than a dink, which is a dual income, no kids. Because a dual income actually means that you're probably married or you're going to claim a dependent, whether it's your wife or your husband or whatever the situation is.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, as a sink, meaning because you're a male and you don't have kids and everything else, you're going to get a little bit harder fucked on your taxes than I am with being married and having a kid.
That's true. You got dependents. I understand that.
Right. But over the long haul,
you use your dink to make those, I think, too, right?
Don't get dirty on me now. I'm halfway through my one mixed drink. But the way that works is a lot of people don't understand is it's very expensive to have children. It's very expensive to raise a child. I mean, you've got to forget the whole paying for private school or college or this, that, the other. Just daily keeping this little monster enclosed, fed, so the DFS doesn't come in and take your kid because apparently top ramen noodle fed through a slingshot is bad. Anyway, I digress. I've never fed my son top ramen soup with the slingshot. More than once.
I hope you cook the noodles first.
Sure, we'll go with that. All I remember was screaming and yelling, going, "It burns! The seasoning burns!"
Yikes.
I'm joking. I've never shot my son with top ramen soup from a slingshot.
I think people are speed dialing Child Protective Services right now on you.
But all this goes down and it breaks down to this. The other thing that a lot of people need to know and they need to understand, the average median income or the average net worth of sitting representatives right now is anywhere from $900,000 to $1.8 million. That is what they are worth before they ever took this quote unquote low level paying servitude job.
And that's not senators, including, I mean, that's the average, right? Because there are some out there that have
more,
loads of money.
Loads more, and there are some out there that may have less than.
Yes.
Senators, it tends to go up into the 1.8 to 3.5 to 8.5 million dollars. It's what these people are worth before they ever get their paycheck from us. This is the other one that we didn't get to the first incantation or the first rendition of this show. I want to break this down for you, okay?
Yeah.
TSA agent, people that are required to make sure that the skies are safe for us Americans to fly, and makes you want to slap your fucking hand over your heart and scream the Pledge of Allegiance.
The pat down.
Those magnificent motherfuckers that work at the airport that why they need to fondle my balls.
More of them have touched my junk than people I've permitted.
I'm just to the point now where it's like, I don't even need to fly. I just want to go to the airport and get grabbed. You know
there you go. You could develop an intimate relationship.
Exactly. That they're going to make anywhere from $7.75, which is minimum wage, to $15 an hour, depending on where they work. Okay.
By the way, Fight for 15, really important cause, but everyone needs to understand 15 is like the discount these people are willing to give their owners / CEOs of companies. They really should be making like $22, $23. Just throwing that out there.
If we go back to what we talked about in the previous show with minimum wage being better than it was, or being better than inflation, or being better than the current economic environment that we're in, right? Meaning that you're making more money per hour than you need to spend to just keep your ass alive.
The idea of upward mobility that everyone expects whenever they get a job and get paid a wage for the the labor that they're doing.
Exactly. I'm going to tell you right now, we're a single income family. I'm making well above minimum wage, and it's still a struggle.
Yep.
In
fact,
still
the
a struggle.
is a gigantic spectrum in there. To not struggle any longer is up or around where you were describing some of those senators and even the representatives.
If I made $174,000
that's what's
a year,
considered comfortable these days.
if I made $174,000 per year, there would be no struggle. There wouldn't. I could. This is the thing that I'm trying to get across that I want people to understand. You only need to be minimum age of 25 years old, a resident or a citizen of the United States for 7 years, and an inhabitant of the state in which you want to represent. And then you too can go on the government tit at $174,000.
And that's not all they're getting, right?
No.
That's just the salary.
That's just a salary. They also then turn around and get 72% of their income under the Healthcare Administration Act, or Obamacare, subsidized. So they only actually are paying premiums for healthcare, full coverage, triple gold, fucking hand job from Obama himself coverage on 28% of their income.
And by the way, I know people that actually went bankrupt because of Obamacare.
And realistically,
going up because it was set up to do that.
In essence, that was a good idea until they started mixing in the reps and mixing in the senators and mixing in all this other shit. Explain to me this. I have read the Affordable Health Care Act. I have fucking read it. I have seen what it says. I have seen how it is supposed to fucking work. Basically, it had turned all of America into a insurable pool of people. Meaning, we're a cooperative group of individuals looking to buy something.
However, we don't have any power of negotiation as a co-op, though. Not one of us. We don't get to negotiate that price. That's why everything went up.
No, the reason everything went up is for the simple fact that all the extra bullshit that these crooked ass fucking senators and representatives who were getting fucking payouts from Big Pharma, Kaiser, all the major healthcare providers were like, well, realistically, if I had 1 million people, I could get you healthcare coverage dirt goddamn cheap.
Yeah. Like the traditional idea of what the big corporations were giving there.
Exactly. The more people I got in my group, the better the price I can negotiate for. That's basic capitalism 101.
Exactly.
I've got 1 million people. We're going to give you $3.50, and we want full medical coverage.
But they created a thing here that the government doesn't negotiate on our behalf.
No. But realistically, let's look at it this way. I got 1 million people. We're going to give you all $3.50 a year for full medical coverage. If I went to any other fucking insurance agency, they'd look at me and be like, fucking A, right on. You are looking at $3.50 times a million. Times a million.
Yeah.
$350 million guaranteed premiums paid per fucking year.
Well, 3.5 million.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, 3.5 million. I don't know. My math is wrong. I have one big mixed drink and it's going down good. So $3.5 million paid in premium every fucking year, right?
Every fucking year.
Now, they, as an insurance company, can then go around and look at HMOs and PPOs and whatever fucking other initials you need to attach to it, and find a hospital care group that says, look, we've got a guaranteed $3 million a year in premiums. You're going to give us the best fucking possible price you can on everything from stitches to having a baby to chemotherapy for cancer patients. And the hospitals are going to be like, yes, Jesus, we'll be more than happy to do that. So now let's look at that. So out of that 100 million people, even if 10%, 10 million people make a claim.
Yeah.
You're paying out, realistically, maybe $3.5 million on these claims, but that's spread out over the year. A lot of people understand that's how insurance fucking works. I pay car insurance every goddamn month.
Yeah.
I've done it in Georgia now for almost 2 fucking years at $70 per month. That is
wow,
$700 for one car. So that's $840 per year. This is now going on year 2. So that's $1,600. Guess how many claims I've made?
How many?
0.
And how many tickets or wrecks have you been in?
None.
Wow, you should look into Geico.
I am with Geico.
So you won't be able to save anything.
No, but I don't mind paying that because it is full coverage, and I get that. But realistically, I ain't the only one who hasn't made a claim. Insurance is a scam and a gamble and everything else. If you got 9, or let's break it down so people can really understand this, okay? You got 10 people. Insurance, or $800, $840 a year. That's $8,400, okay? You only got one person who makes a claim in that entire fucking year, and it's for a broken windshield, $500. You still made an fucking unbelievable assload of money off the other 9 people.
They don't have an allowance of people to drive around uninsured. That's not
yes,
a thing.
They do. No, I'm telling you, yes, they do. Uninsured motorist is a key basic component to auto insurance. Uninsured motorist coverage.
It's against the law, though, to drive uninsured. What I'm talking about is the assumption that everyone has auto insurance.
Correct, it is, but it's only illegal if you get pulled over and the police ask you for insurance. Just because I don't have car
insurance. It's illegal if you get caught for it. I see.
That is correct.
I can kill someone, but I'm not a murderer until I'm convicted.
Ask Donald Trump, because that's exactly how that shit works. But that's exactly how it works. I guarantee you there are more people driving uninsured on the roads today than you would fucking believe or think, because of certain states that have really draconian drinking and driving laws, driving under the influence, driving insurance. The thing is realistically, for me to get my license to drive, I had to be a minimum age of 16 years old and be able to pass a driving test.
You can't.
That was it.
You have to have proof of insurance in the state of Maine to put plates on a car.
Exactly, but that is to register a
point.
vehicle. But it doesn't mean you can't get a driver's license, right?
Well, sure, but the license means nothing if you're driving an unregistered vehicle. You're in so much more world of pain.
So what people need to start questioning themselves and understanding is, why do I have to carry so much goddamn insurance to fucking drive my vehicle?
Because you have to be covered when you destroy other people. You can't afford to kill someone.
But it happens every day.
It sure does.
The motor vehicle accidents in the United States are astronomical.
How do you propose to fix that problem then, Jesse, if insurance isn't the right way?
The way you do that is you actually balance the healthcare costs in the United States across the board.
So you're saying if we had Medicare for all, then
we are the only
covered without out-of-pocket cost, and therefore any problems that happened on the road, that would be between the two drivers. Because
stop. Let's look at this realistically.
Okay.
We are the only first world country in all of the world that spends 3 to 5 times more on healthcare than our nearest rival or our nearest competitor or nearest whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And not everyone is covered under that insurance plan. Canada has universal health care. England, universal health care. Australia, universal health care. Spain, universal health care. All these countries have universal health care for their fucking citizens. We don't. Why? Because there is more money in some jackass representative or senator fucking over the American people so he can make a fucking dollar or make a fucking dime, so Kaiser Permanente can then turn around and charge someone who doesn't have insurance because they can't afford it because they work minimum wage $180,000 for a fucking rattlesnake bite. When realistically, And I shit you not, realistically, you're looking at maybe a $7,000 actual or hospital bill for what they did for that person. What about a broken leg? Broken leg can cost you $90,000.
Yeah.
$80,000. What is it? Motherfucker, I've seen enough fucking shitty TV shows to know how to fix your broken leg. I gotta fucking set it. I gotta squish it. I gotta splint it. And then your ass is good by Act 3.
Well, if we end up in a nuclear winter situation, Dr. Jess can hang his shingle.
Oh, all day long. I will be in the apocalypse. I will be your doctor, your dentist, your gynecologist, your proctologist. I'll be it all, baby.
Maybe you'll change gloves in between doing those different jobs.
Depends. Gloves are expensive.
Yeah,
especially in the apocalypse.
We're trying to save money here.
But I mean, that's the thing that gets me. I mean, only in this country is healthcare so goddamn expensive. And it's only so goddamn expensive because we've talked about it in other shows, is that insurance companies have gone to hospitals and said, look, I need you to cut me a deal. And if you do, I will let my insurable people come here. Well, and the hospital was like, well, we can't really cut costs, but what we can do is overinflate the costs and then give you a different number so it looks on the books like you got a good deal. And they're like, well, fuck, that works for me.
They say great. Exactly.
They say great. And it's all bullshit. It's all make-believe.
And with that, we're going to go and check in with Josh. We'll be right back, folks.
Yes.
I just watched the first 2 episodes of This Is America with Sacha Baron Cohen, and it's almost horrifying. I mean, I've known that these people were this way, and I know that I knew the depravity by the conversations that I heard in Congress, by the way they mealy mouth their way around the law to benefit super rich donors and to punch down on poor people, while trying to get you to tell them some approximation of thank you for your service. And so I knew that they were evil. I knew that they were depraved. But to see the wizard behind the curtain, to actually see them perform like a circus seal. Here's a mackerel. Here's a mackerel boy. Good boy. Work, work. Good boy. Say it. Work, work. And the first grader to first grenader. I mean, come on, man. And, it's fine. Kids don't know how to, effectively saying kids don't know how to cognate any sort of horrific trauma. Because if they're 4, I think they're saying basically cognitive memory start at about 4-ish. But, oh my gosh. Processing images 80 times faster, possibly, synapse creation. I could see that. With 0 recognition skills, a 3-year-old. I've recently raised a 3-year-old. He's now almost 6. And I would never, ever trust a 16-year-old walking around with the guns of a 21-year-old combat rifle, law, etc., etc. Let alone a 6-year-old. Like a 16-year-old could probably go out and hunt with a rifle. Going out on a hunting trip, get his hunting license, go through potentially even some of the good parts of the NRA. The NRA they actually teach you gun safety. That is a welcome benefit to society. If you actually are going to use a weapon, then let's make sure that you know how to use that damn weapon. I wish we had the same thing for concealed weapons. You don't even know how to shoot a gun to have a concealed weapon. And so I could potentially be a good guy with a gun, and because of you I have to watch my 6, or you might shoot me in the ass. And how is that a benefit to society? How is a good guy with a gun a benefit to society if you think you're a good guy but have no fucking idea what you're doing? And then a 3-year-old. I mean, the depravity. The idea that a 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 even year-old would have the ability to truly even appreciate what it is to take a human life And as long as you can turn a profit, and the psychic scarring this would do to children who actually did it, because likely it would shoot their father, their mother, their grandmother, whoever was closest to them. It wouldn't shoot a bad guy. It'd shoot their kid sitting in a desk next to him, kid trying to take a nap. Boom! Kids don't fucking know. And how gross. Dude, Sasha is amazing. My hat is tipped. My brother, God bless the man, but clutched his pearls in offense at Sarah Palin coming out saying how she was tricked by Sasha and how he was he pretended to be a disabled veteran. And so she talked to him, and my brother was like, well, I agree with her being uppity. You shouldn't, be able to masquerade as a disabled vet. Probably because my brother is a fucking war hero, been around, seen a lot of fellow soldiers die, and so I suspect that it triggers some pretty primal emotions. And yet it brings me to the V for Vendetta quote that the character Evie said, that politicians use the truth to tell lies, while artists use lies to tell the truth. And so yes, Sasha didn't say, hey, yo, what's up, guys? I'm Sasha. You guys want to talk? Because of course they're not going to. He has money. He says, I'm this person. I am this person. This is what I have. I'm going to give you this money, and you say this. And read a teleprompter. No matter how gross. Child soldiers. My gosh. The depravity and the grossness of what I saw floored me, but at once kind of exhilarated me, because now we have this disgusting magic, if you will, caught on camera. And this is the stuff that empowers somehow these gross people. I don't know how, but somehow these are the gross people that stay in power, and somehow you are protected when you're one of those gross people. And so I was looking at myself when swimming with my son in the mirror, my stomach. I'm white like a damn vampire, like fucking white. My arms and my face look fine. I get plenty of sun walking around. I got a farmer tan like hell, but oh my gosh, my stomach and chest, I look like a fucking vampire. And so I'm a pure white dude. And sure, maybe I have some, some cool ethnic blood hanging out my DNA. I'm cool with that. But I figure at least on the outer shell, I exhibit like a pure white man. And with my goatee, my beard, my hair, I feel like right-wingers just kind of accept me a little bit easier, especially if I show up with an American flag. And so I recently did that. You guys have probably heard me talk about that at the National March for Our Lives, the NRA and the Utah Gun Exchange. Just real briefly, quick recap. Utah Gun Exchange, drive a Humvee, follow these kids around. It's got a mounted 50 cal on top, a 50 caliber rifle on top. And so this is a fucking machine gun, effectively. Bah, boom! And, oh my gosh. And if you've ever seen Rambo 3, this is what basically blew that guy up, and it looked like he was a balloon full of beef chili that exploded, like, at point blank. And so this is a fake rifle, of course, but the visceral nature of chasing kids around with a rifle as they saw their friends blown away, and likely still wake up in a cold sweat hearing their dying friends screaming, passing away, waking up in a cold sweat, nothing you can do, traumatized that you'll never see your friend again, and then some asshole chases you around with a fucking mounted cannon on a armored Humvee. I mean, how gross is that? That is equal, in my mind, to finding out I'm an Iraq War veteran and you chase me around with an ISIS flag. It's just gross. Chances are mine is chasing me around is probably less than what, I mean, the point is there's PTSD that triggers, and it's gross. And why can't these kids have their PTSD treated with the same dignity that we would expect of treating veterans? Why can't we honor these kids? Why can't we have a conversation around the questions they are asking? What money is causing them to say what the fuck ever. Sacha Baron Cohen is showing us. He showed the gun lobbyists that will literally say anything to sell guns. And this is what we're up against. So we can't listen to them. We just have to ignore the crazies. There's nothing we can do. We cannot appease them. They are a rabid fucking cur that needs to be put down, because there is nothing there's nothing that can appease them unless we pay them more money. And they can rightly go fuck off before I pay them more money. And these people just are unwilling to be reasonable. They are ever unreasonable, and there's nothing you can do if somebody decides to be unreasonable simply for the sake of being unreasonable. Disagreement for the sake of disagreement gets you nowhere. There's nothing you can do if somebody's simply a contrarian just for contrarian's sake. And that's what we're dealing with. Well, you know what? Ocasio-Cortez for the win. That's how you do it. You pound the pavement. And so if you are dealing with nonsensical people, just don't invite them to the table. Let them bark the way that they'll bark. There's nothing we can do about them barking. We can talk and we can address the adults in the room. And then let's just point out how ridiculous they are, the ridiculousness of their shenanigans, while we win office after office and we gut their ability to do this. I don't think Mueller is going to be the savior that so many people think that he will. I think that he is going to potentially open the door for something of that nature, but he is definitely not going to walk through it. Others may exploit that and walk through it, but he definitely is not. He's a good company man. And so we shall see where this all leads us. Point being, run for office. There's just too many unreasonable people.
So we're back.
Loved it. I learned the hard way all the way. Hard way all day long.
It's the hard way or no way.
So let's put this into perspective, what we're talking about, before I make some really radical suggestions here. So Border Patrol agents will make $12.11 to $15 per hour. And that is for them putting their life on the line to keep illegal immigrants out of this country.
The people that the right wing are so afraid of.
Exactly. So teachers, people who teach your children, who are supposed to make the next generation of super smart, fucking innovative Americans who move technology forward and make us the greatest nation on the fucking world.
Possibly the most important job besides being a surgeon.
Exactly. They will make anywhere from $11.67 to $16.38 an hour.
Bullshit.
Okay. Police officer, average statewide. Some are more, some are less, but the average is around $22 an hour. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm split on the whole police thing. I mean, I do respect police officers for the most part, but this whole war on drugs bullshit actually takes them down quite a few notches.
I respect the job that they're meant to do, and I do not respect those who are corrupt and shooting people and those who are complicit and allowing that shit to continue without having fucking heads roll.
Exactly.
That's how I feel about it.
I'll agree with that 100%. Any officer that will turn around and destroy someone's life for having marijuana because you live in a state that geographically is out of that zone that allows it, you can go fuck yourself, and you can do it with a fucking donut that I'll pay for. I'll stick a crawler up your ass all day long if you really, really want me to.
Yikes.
Firefighters, $10.81 an hour to $15.24 an hour for a basic fireman. Okay? Now, here's the one that really bothered me the most. Absolutely. This should be the wake-up call. This should be the one to make you go, what the fuck? A U.S. soldier who is going to be sent into combat in Kazakhstan because they've got oil or rare earth elements or Wakanda or whatever the fucking shithole country is.
Yeah.
Tax, $20 an hour. $20 an
Max?
hour to get shot at.
Yeah, and $140 an hour, was it, to tell people to go get shot at?
$157.50 for a rep, and anywhere from $134 to $172 an hour for these fuckers to send them off to war.
So 7 soldiers worth
exactly
of work. Yeah.
Now, an ER doctor, $163 an hour is the average median. But that being said, that same doctor will have $166,750 or more in school debt.
Yeah, that does.
Not only that, I learned a really interesting fact the other day. Are you ready for this?
Please.
I listened to, I'm going to drop a name here, and if he ever listens to this, just shoot me an email at jchaney2014.com and tell me what a fucking shithole or fucking puss I am is Joe Rogan.
We double dog dare you.
I double dog dare you, Rogan. But he had a neuroscientist on, and basically he was talking about sleep. Okay. ER doctors are expected to have this superhuman ability to fucking go without sleep for 30, 35, 40, 45 fucking hours. And this neuropsychologist, scientist, whatever the fuck you want to call him, basically was stating that this is from an old fucking guy. I think he said it was Hedgings, that basically he could go 30, 32, 35 hour shifts with not needing sleep and continuously being an ER doctor and all this other shit in the the turn of the century in medicine.
Yikes.
Here's the deal. He was a fucking cocaine fiend who had a fucking cocaine habit.
No shit.
That is why he could go these extreme amounts of time without sleep.
That's why all these people are able to. It's either that or amphetamines. I mean, shit, they even gave soldiers amphetamines back in the World Wars, right?
No, not so much soldiers, but Air Force pilots.
Air Force pilots, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, they had to stay up. Okay, I see.
Exactly. So basically, this guy was a fucking cokehead who could run all these marathon things. And the tradition of being a doctor kept that. Yet, it is statistically proven that when these doctors in today's era are running 30-hour shifts and 32 and 34-hour shifts, they are like 70 to 80 to 90% more likely to miss a diagnosis that costs the patient their life.
Yep.
If they're a surgeon, they're going to do something that on a routine elective surgery is going to cost that person their life. And yet we still allow these fucking people to put residents through that torture. Like, go fuck yourself. If someone said, I'm going to give you $163 an hour, but you're going to have to work 32 hours straight, and you're going to work on people, and what decisions you make, don't make, miss or don't miss, is going to negatively or positively affect that person's life because you're up for 36 fucking hours straight, I ain't taking that job. I'm not.
Yeah, that's horrible. I have a friend whose wife is a anesthesiologist, and she had to do her residency required her to make decisions on what kind of medication people get as they're put under. And basically, she's bringing you to a place that's not a whole lot different from being straight up dead. And she did this in the children's ward. So she was every day she killed kids and brought them back to life, in a sense, right? And she had to do that for hours on end. I think it was like 30, maybe 35 hours or something like that. Like she'd have to do 2.5. A day and a half was like her shift. It was insane. And that she would just be kind of wired and then a little crazy and loopy until she got to sleep, you know?
So here's my counter to that. Certain states right now are looking into legislation to prosecute sleep-deprived drivers, saying that, you've been driving for 22 hours straight. We're going to give you a sobriety test that says that you are basically a DUI waiting to happen.
But
we're going to let
doctors.
Right, but we're going to let a doctor decide whether your child gets the right medication or not because the bitch has been up for 38 hours. She's loopy as fuck, and she's like, he's fucking 9. I'm sure he can handle fucking 800 cc's of fucking morphine. Bring it on.
Or better yet, and I don't have like all the details in my head anymore, but what about airline pilots that pull crazy fucking hours and actually what was it? Maybe a few months ago, there was an airplane that wouldn't land, wouldn't have an emergency landing for a woman of color who was complaining about having chest pains and stuff, right?
Yeah.
And they didn't land, and she ended up dying. And it turns out that the pilots actually put it on cruise control and go to sleep, and they weren't. They couldn't wake the pilot up, so they couldn't make the decision because the captain gets to make all those choices, right?
But it goes back to this. Okay, I'm gonna butcher. I know I'm gonna butcher it, but you know what, Rogan, please forgive me. But you know what, I listened to it, and it moved me and it changed me because sleep is more important than a lot of people understand. It's a biological function that you cannot jip, you cannot fuck with. You need a minimum 7 to 9 hours for an adult. A child and an adolescent needs more because their body's going through a lot more. Now, Reagan and Margaret Thatcher, who were notoriously, oh, you only need 5 hours of sleep. That's how I've done as much as I have in my life. Ugh. I only need 5 hours of sleep. You guys are all pussies.
Fuck both of those murderers.
Exactly. And I'm scared now because I'm an insomniac and I run off 5.5, maybe 6 hours of sleep a day. If that.
I've heard 6 isn't bad.
No, 6 is very bad. You need a minimum of 7. 6 hours raises your chances for cancer, heart disease.
1 more hour makes a difference?
And Alzheimer's. Reagan and Thatcher both died at their age that they did with horrible bouts of Alzheimer's.
You think it was all based in sleep, huh?
It is. Parkinson's, they basically have found that there's...
Some of that was hereditary.
No, it's not hereditary because if you think about it, you didn't really turn around and look at Alzheimer's and Parkinson's as much as we are now. It's more Parkinson's. I misspoke. Alzheimer's not so much, but Parkinson's.
Yeah.
Reagan died of Parkinson's, and so did Thatcher. Now, they did not have a family history of it. They did not have the family trait, the family tree, whatever you want to fucking call it. But they were both notorious 5 hours or less of sleep a day. Now, they found that there's a certain protein in Parkinson patients that is not in people who get 7 to 9 hours.
You're kidding me.
No. I can't remember the name of the protein. Like, you got to listen to Joe Rogan. You got
people do your research. We got the gist on this show, but if you want some details,
you want the details, you want the actual science, you got to listen to the show. Yeah. Follow the rabbit. I'm saying Rogan fucking 100% of the time.
Yeah.
But basically that's what it was, is Parkinson's. They found that there's a protein in the brain that it's from the metabolic process throughout the day. When you sleep less than 7 hours, your brain does not have the time to get rid of that. And that protein is directly relative to causing holes and damage in the brain.
Holy shit.
Right. And I personally am an insomniac, and I can run off of, the world record right now is 8 days. I know I've gone longer than that. I've gone 11, 12.
Oh my God. I thought I was breaking rules going 2.5 days without
sleep. Oh, good God. No. I liked around day 7, day 8. Day 7 or day 8 with no real sleep tends to get fun because you start to get silly and you start seeing shit. Realistically, for me, that's when I start seeing shit. I remember the longest I'd gone with no real sleep whatsoever was 11 days. And after 11 days, I was just psychotic. I was just fucking shoot me. Everything fucking hurt. The brain, the fucking arms, legs, feet, fucking toenails hurt. Everything just sucked. And I was fucking just shoot me.
Oh my God.
But I mean, that was when I was probably 15, 16, 17 years old. You know, and sleep is a very, very important thing. And I know we've gotten way off topic of what we originally started off with, Civics 101. But I blame you.
No, it's always my fault.
That's always your fault.
Yeah. Well, anyway, back to that. So, sleep-deprived doctors, they make a whole lot of money per hour. However, they are also paying back their student loan debts, which are completely massive.
And they're more likely to kill patients.
Yes.
So I mean that's to give you guys this big long list of everything that we've talked about, is to give you the perspective of this. And we've said it. I've said it a million times on this fucking podcast. Run for office. You can't fuck it up any worse. If I went from making what I am now to $174,000 a year as a representative, my life, I just won the goddamn lottery.
Well, now, do you really want your constituents to think that you're running for the job just so that you can make the money?
No, but I want my constituents to understand that I'm going to run on what they want to hear, you know what I mean? And realistically, like you were talking about lobbyists this and lobbyists that, I'd be more than happy to take your money all day long. But as a lobbyist, there's no contract stating that I have to fucking keep the word that I gave to you.
You know, I'd like to see a little research done in how many new senators and new representatives got into the game saying just that, and then how many of them found their bot point, right?
It's not so much bot. I mean, look at the current news right now. They busted that Russian chick for the NRA. You saw that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so there you go. So you have to understand is it's no different than Prohibition. Prohibition allowed the creation of the black market.
Right.
Okay. You had people, and like I said, we've talked about it 1,000 times on this show before. I can stop all of this shit with the cartels and everything else. Is you give me the power and the wand, I'm legalizing all drugs across the fucking board. Cocaine, marijuana, methamphetamines. You want to get high smoking fucking dog turds? Go the fuck out her, pumpkin.
Wait a minute. I can get high smoking dog turds?
Sure, why not? I mean, but you get the gist of what I'm saying, is because the minute I legalize it, I take the money out of that cartel. I take the money out of smuggling. I take the money out of dealers' hands. I take all of that money that is in the black market, and I piss it away. And then I turn around and say, we're going to put 20% tax across the board on all drugs. Alcohol, marijuana, tobacco, methamphetamines, heroin, all of it. What do you think the market price is going to be in America for fucking heroin then? Dirt,
probably pretty
fucking
low.
Cheap.
Yeah.
Right? So then what I do is I then take a third of what I spent in prosecution, policing, DEA, all of these programs to stop the war on drugs. I take 20% of the war on drugs money and I put it back into social programs to get people off meth, to get people off heroin.
And how about free mental health care?
Exactly.
So that people can start seeing the psychiatrists or psychologists they need to work through the problems, which were probably the biggest piece of the puzzle of why they got addicted to a drug in the first place.
Right. But then the other thing is
drugs to shut it off. They don't do drugs. I mean, they party, sure, but usually the addicts, they have some deeper shit they got to work through, and they never got a chance. And then they go and they rob a store because they have to get more of the shit that they can't have because they lost their jobs, and they end up in the system, and that's part of the cycle, you know?
But not only that, I also gut the pharmaceutical industry. So there's a big chunk of your lobbyists right there. Right?
What do you mean by gut the pharmaceutical industry?
Because then you're not going to be able to sell your OxyContin, your, methadone.
Oh, so are you going to change the FDA regulations that have already been passed?
Oh, yeah,
I'd say that would be the best way to do that, right?
Yeah, like I said, be like Peru, across the board, legalize all drugs.
Yeah.
Or minimum decriminalize. And then you go after the dealers, you go after the cartels, you go after the suppliers. And you take the junkies out of the equation and say, look, you're just a pawn in this game. We understand that. We get that. Here's your choice. You can continue to do what you're doing, but we all know that you're a heroin addict, you're going to hotshot, or you're going to die. But the option would be is you can then turn around and say, instead of throwing you in jail, how would you feel about us sending you into a program where it gets you off of heroin? Whether it's mental health, whether it's detox, methadone, Ubuntu, all this other shit. Like, that's the other one that drives me at the wall. You heard of Ubuntu, right?
What the fuck is Ubuntu?
If I'm pronouncing it correctly, and I'm pretty sure if people want to fucking send me hate mail, again, jchaney2014@gmail.com. Send me hate mail, I will respond.
He's on Facebook too, folks.
Exactly. It's basically of a plant derivative that they found that can actually go through and block the receptors in your brain for opioids.
What?
And it's not just opioids. What is it?
Kratom?
Kratom, yes, Kratom.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's Corey Chaney in the background. She's also married to Jesse Chaney.
Yes, the smarter. I don't want to say smarter. She's more sober than I am usually. But it does. It breaks the connection in your brain to addiction. Now, here's the thing that I'm going to tell a lot of people. The thing you got to understand is this. Addiction is addiction is addiction. It doesn't matter what it is. Cocaine.
Chocolate cake.
No. What I'm getting at is they've studied the effects of cocaine on the brain, opioids on the brain, marijuana on the brain. A lot of people don't understand is that nicotine has the same chemical registration in your brain as cocaine.
Oh, I understand that.
I smoke cigarettes. I have tons of times tried to quit. You ain't going cold turkey. You ain't going the gum. You ain't going the patch. You ain't going shit. And I ain't going to take fucking Chaxum or Chapum or whatever the fuck that other one is.
Chantix. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one.
That'll give you homicidal and suicidal thoughts.
The same thing as Prozac.
Yeah. Well, that's what they attack. Actually, they got that stuff is derived out of, there used to be something pre-Prozac, I think, called Wellbutrin.
Wellbutrin is actually... Before Wellbutrin, it was Xanax. I took Xanax to try to quit smoking.
And Wellbutrin was actually prescribed to me to try to quit smoking back when I was a smoker. I did quit, however. And I had to do it cold turkey, and it was painful.
It's not just painful. You have to understand is there are different levels. It's like no different than drug users or different level of smokers.
Yeah.
There's social drinker smokers. There are stress smokers. There are people that smoke because they're addicted to it. There's tons of different categories.
I was because 5 minutes ago I had a cigarette smoker.
You were addicted.
2 packs a day. Oh yeah.
Yeah. See, now I'm more along the lines of a standard smoker, but I'm a stress smoker as well.
Yeah.
So I get stressed. I want to smoke. But the thing is when I don't smoke, I get stressed. So that it feeds. You know what I mean? It constantly feeds.
Well, maybe not 2 packs a day.
And for all you people out there who are like, oh, I did it cold turkey. Fuck you.
Hey, fuck you too. It was hard.
Yeah, I don't doubt that it was hard. But I'm just saying. You also now live in a state that I guarantee you, if I could self-medicate, I'd quit smoking tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, because it is kind of easy to quit smoking tobacco if you're replacing it with marijuana.
Exactly. And marijuana tends to hit those receptors that says, hey, you don't need a cigarette. There's been times that I've gotten
They also
high.
hit the receptor that say, hey, you don't have to stand up right now when you should really be standing up.
Dude, there have been times...
You got to be careful with everything you do.
And not in this
country. All things in moderation.
There have been times when I was in Canada, and you can't prosecute me because I no longer live there, and the statute of limitation of 4 off, so go fuck yourself, that I would get stoned, and I didn't smoke cigarettes for 6-7 hours. I never had a fainting. I never had nothing because I was too busy on the couch.
Yeah.
I was literally on the couch just going, wow. This is awesome. And to be like, where's my lemon cake? I had lemon cake earlier. Where's my lemon cake? And that's what it turned into. I once spent 4.5 hours watching the DVD opening sequence to Dame to Kill For, which is a sequel to Sin City. Because of the snow and everything else, I was high as balls just going, oh my God, is that ever cool? That's what I did. But honestly, I will say that I medicated for pain reasons. I mean, you got to understand, like, I got a high tolerance for pain, but it almost hurts more being pain-free than it does being painful. If that makes sense. I don't know. A lot of people wouldn't understand that.
Well, some people would. I think different people are wired differently, but ultimately what we're getting at, folks, is that although there are some interesting side effects, the use by a lot of people isn't really to get off or to avoid doing labor or something like that.
No.
It's really they're fighting against pain. They're fighting against the suffering they might be going through. If they're in chemo, they're trying to be able to eat without throwing up. There are all sorts of advantages to using this, but like I said before, all things in moderation. Going overboard with anything, even chocolate cake, will lead to a disastrous result.
Exactly. And that's the thing that a lot of people are, like you said, a perfect example is everyone's got to have something in moderation. If I sit here and drink a bottle of Jack Daniels, I'm going to the hospital.
Yeah.
but the bottle of Jack Daniels is legal, yet the 5.5 pounds of fucking marijuana you probably got in your basement is not.
Yeah,
Right.
if you can remember John Boehner, though, he probably smokes 3 packs of cigarettes and 2
Right.
bottles of Jack a day.
But
There's
not only that,
different
it's cigarettes. But the biggest difference is alcohol, they make money off of taxes. Cigarettes, they make money off of taxes. Prescription drugs, they make money off of taxes. That's
So
the
why not
only
do it with
legal-
everything else?
Exactly. Across the board, tax 20%. Then you're going to have people that are coming in. I mean, for fuck's sakes, Bear owned the patent for heroin for the longest goddamn time.
Don't most cities have something called a vice tax anyway? Any of the ones that have like gambling or stuff
Yep.
like that, right?
Yeah, or a sin tax. It's either vice
Sin
or
tax.
sin tax.
I
right.
prefer the word vice. I'm not really into the whole bringing biblical bullshit into the language of
Oh, you don't like that comic book?
well, because it's not a separation, and I believe in keeping
Exactly.
those things separate.
So going back to what this is, the Civics 101 is what this is all supposed to be about. It's a
Civics
simple fact that
101.
It's a lesson in civics with Professor Jess.
people got to understand is this, is if you give a shit about your country and you think you can do a better job at it, run for office.
Why
You
not?
can't fuck it up any worse. And odds are, as a freshman coming into this situation, look at what was the girl's name from New York?
Oh, Octavio Cortez.
Yes. She, hands fucking down, is going to be a better politician than the 10-term cocksucker that they had in there, or
Crowley.
the GOP
Yeah, dude.
cocksucker they had in there, or anyone else that they had in there, because she never expected to win. She is going to value that job. She is going to hold that job to her heart. She's going to be, I hope to God she is going to be sincere in that job. She ain't going to be able to fix everything. She's a small part of a bigger equation.
But all
But
we
if
can
we-
ask for is just some sincerity. You know, it's not a
Exactly.
purity test that the leftists put different candidates through. It's like the base. It's the basic minimum. You know, you need to be for us, not for the non-natural persons. You need to be for the natural persons. You know, the non-natural persons, they have lobbyists. That's who represents corporations. We need representatives, the human beings, to represent the rest of the human beings. That's where I'm coming from when I say that.
Yes.
I don't care if
need
you're rich or poor either. You just need to represent people, goddammit. You need to
I need
understand
people
where
to
we come
understand that you're in office and you're a public servant. $174,000 should be more than enough for you. You don't need
Yeah.
lobbyist money. You don't need kickbacks from the Koch brothers. You don't need
from. You don't
big
need
pharma. You don't need it.
you don't need the promise of being able to give speeches to giant banks after you leave office.
No, you don't need that. No one gives a shit how much money you have. You need enough money to live comfortably, feed your fucking family, have a little bit of few nice things here or there, and be goddamn happy with it. Because these millionaires, billionaires are pieces of shit. You look at the fucking Oompa Loompa in office right now, he is a miserable fucking piece of shit. He has tons of money, yet he's not happy. He has tons of money, yet Melania, according to certain things, it's not even her anymore. It's a goddamn body double.
Well, and you know, to others, people like us are considered pieces of shit. But guess what? We haven't sold ourselves out, so we're happy little pieces of shit.
Okay, the other thing that I want to leave people with is this. It's us 775 motherfuckers that pay for this government. It's us 775 motherfuckers that pay for the military. It's us 775 motherfuckers that pay for this corruption in the representative and in the fucking Senate. It ain't these billionaires and millionaires because they aren't paying taxes because their money's in fucking Panama and can't be touched. Therefore, it can't be taxed. It's us. These 775 motherfuckers who are paying for all this shit to fuck us over. So I would tell everyone this. Realistically and legally, you can cut this out if you want, Chris. I don't care, but legally, you are allowed to go to your employer and say, no longer will you take out federal taxes and no longer are you to take out state taxes. I will pay them myself at the end of the year. And then at the end of the year, you are allowed to write on your returns, I will not pay taxes because I am protesting war tax. Now,
wow,
they may get 1 or 2 or 50 or 100 or 1%, 10%, 20% of us that do that. But the other 80% adds the fuck up towards tax money that they aren't going after, where we're like, go fuck yourself. Make Bill Gates pay 20% of his fucking income worth. Make the president pay 20% of his income worth. Oh, no, you can't do that because they're invested in the Switzerland fucking hide my shit bank and the Panama, oh, I don't know, bud. You got money with us? I don't remember that bank. Make them pay their taxes.
You know what, Jesse? I would have to say to that boycott is always the best way for the customer or the receiver of benefit to let the person giving the benefit or the company know exactly who is in charge. And though I can't endorse anybody going and doing things to get themselves arrested on purpose, I can say that everyone out there should do what their heart desires.
All I'm going to say is
up to you.
If you go to jail for fucking tax evasion, it's 3 hots and a cot and all the dick you can handle. For some people, that's a dream come true.
And with that, we're going to have to go ahead and call this one game over.
Game over on that note? Holy shit.
Game over on that note, sir.
All right, boys.
It's been a pleasure as always, Mr. Cheney.
Yes, I've had a fucking blast. Yes.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye. Hold on. Chris, pause that.
Recording. Check in with Josh. We'll be right back, folks.